We're live with Joy and Joel, and am I on time? No, I'm a minute late. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for this to catch me up and have a quick look and see what's going on. There we go. That's all up. It's all live. Let me make the picture bigger. Cool. I can see I'm live. What's going on over here? Let me throw that up over there. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Wow, why have I got different screens? What's going on? Sorry, I do apologize. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on there. Right, I don't think I need that screen. I think I can close that. I'll take the risk. Can I close that? Yeah. Fuck it, we'll try it. Okay, good evening. How is everyone tonight? Good evening. Hello, Laurie. Hello, Rachel. Joanne, Keely. Keely, I love some of your posts recently on my page. Actually, I'll pull up my page so I can see some of the comments that we're making. I hope everyone is well this evening. If you can hear the banging around above me, my kids are heading off to bed now. They're resisting bedtime. So if you hear shouts and bangs and screaming, that's why. Okay, let's go on. Right, I'm going to talk about some social media stuff tonight because today is my anniversary. It's my 11 year anniversary. I'm also super excited today because we have just sold our house, so that's exciting. So it's been a good finish to a day, to a good day, and to a good week really. And I'm getting ever closer. I'm inching closer and closer and closer to sorting out purchasing in the prisons. And today I'm drinking Corona to celebrate being back open from the coronavirus. So I'm going to have a nice Corona as we do this. I can see outside and it's nice and sunny. I can see the sun glistening out over the patios and the grass. So okay, Robin's here. Louise, Dave. Good evening, everybody. Kirsty, hi Kirsty. Kirsty sent me an epic photo, a really, really good photo of Sea Wing. Yeah, a really good photo of Sea Wing. Actually, two photos of somebody, and actually you'll probably be able to share it, Kirsty, I'd imagine, if you wanted to, of what looks like I wouldn't say it looks like a person, but it's a clear shadow at the bottom of the stairs on Sea Wing. What's really bizarre about it is you can see through the shadow and you can see the stairs behind, but it's definitely not like anything that's around it. It's a clear shadow, and you can see through, and you can see the line of the stairs behind it. So I passed it over to our marketing team this morning. They're going to see if they can blow it up a little bit bigger, make it a little bit clearer, and then they're going to post it onto the Shrewsbury Prison page at some point. So, Kirsty, thank you very much for that. Laurie Somhouse. This is going to sound more extravagant than it is, so just let me explain it before anyone jumps in. We have another house. It's a house it's the first house we bought in Somerset in Shepton Mallet. It's a small house. It was the first house. Well, it is small, but it was actually very cheap because the area it's in Shepton Mallet in Somerset. It's not a particularly expensive area. We bought it back in 2007. We've had it for a number of years. When we first moved to Shrewsbury, we rented it. So it just basically it was being rented for a number of years. We've been trying to sell it for a while, and the house we're in now is a lovely house. It's really big, but it was super cheap. I mean, so cheap, the house we're in now, because it needs so much work. And I said before that the family that we're here, the people died. So it's haunted. The people died, and the family really wanted to go to a family. So yeah, so we sold our other house. And somebody said, funny enough, somebody said to me the other week, going, "Wow, you must have loads of money. You've got two houses." And my point was, you can have 100 houses, but if they're all mortgaged up to the hilt, if your mortgages are right up to the top limit, it doesn't matter how many houses you have no equity in them. So that's kind of my point back really a little bit. But it's nice that it's sold because it's just one less thing to have to deal with. And funny enough, I don't think he's on. I might tag him in actually. Somebody that I went to school with. let me just tag him in. He might jump on because he's been talking to me about. Jump on. I'm talking about you. Okay. Oh. No, wrong link. Hold on. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to tag somebody in that I know. Let me do this. There we go. So somebody has been asking whether I'd be interested in investing in property. I don't know if there's anybody out there that invests in property, that buys houses, does them up, sells them and stuff like that. For me, I don't really want to invest into property certainly in terms of a personal standpoint, in terms of residential property, to buy it, do it up, sell it on, buy it, do it up, rent it, buy it, rent it, houses of multiple occupancy, stuff like that. It really doesn't excite me at all. It's not really an area that I think I would add huge value to. So it doesn't tick the boxes. I need 3 boxes ticked for me to do something. And it certainly doesn't tick 2 of those, so I'm not really interested in doing too much of property. I don't know if other people are. I know it's a great investment, and lots of people love doing it, but for me it's not something that I want to do. I'm just going to chuck my charger on a second, because I haven't done that, so let's do that. Put my charger in, set it down. Okay, right, so people are coming to the prison next week for ghost tours. I know a number of you guys are coming, so that's great. So I will obviously see you there. I'm gonna hang out for the ghost tour, so I'll be there for the early one. I'll jump out. I'll jump out. I'm gonna jump out, and you go ah. I'll be there for the early tour. I know some of you are coming for that, and I will stay for the later tour, and I will say hello and such like that for those of you that come on the later tour. So let's have a quick look. Right, the numbers are going up. People are starting to enjoy Join. I don't know why, because I just talk crap. So, but thank you. Like I said last week, I do appreciate it. I'm just going to see if I'm able to change. I think I can change my background. Let's have a quick look. Do you know what? I won't worry about it today. Maybe next time. I think when I get this replastered, I'm going to paint this back in. I'll just paint it into a nice smooth wall. Okay, if there's anything specifically you want to hear about today, ping me a message, let me know. Other than that, I think I would like to talk a little bit about social media this evening. Yeah, you'll get to meet me next week on the ghost tour. It's not that exciting, I promise you. It'll be socially distanced for a start. It's not all that exciting. Kirsty met me the other week on a live. Kathy, if she's on, she met me on a live. A few other people, Teresa's met me. It's not that exciting, I promise. Okay, social media. Right, so I joined social media 11 years ago. I was 26, wow, and I know I was 26 because I remember when I set my password, I put the years into it, so I knew exactly when it was. I've changed it now, so I don't try and hack into my Facebook account. So yeah, I was 26. I think Facebook had been around for a number of years. I'd been part of a MySpace account with 3 other guys that was a band with that I grew up with. So I'd been on social media, but I didn't really get it. I didn't like it, and I was very blasé, and kind of the whole start of social media kind of passed me by. I was in a different period of my life, doing something completely different. Emma used to use it, my friends used to use it, and people say, oh, what's your Facebook, you're on Facebook, and obviously that kind of thing. We'll connect on Facebook, become friends on Facebook and stuff like that. I think Bieber was a thing, MySpace was kind of dying out. There was a few other bits and pieces, and I was just like, nah, social media is shit, Facebook's crap, I don't want to be on that bollocks. And I resisted it for years and years and years. Like a good few years I resisted going onto social media. Oh, Laurie! oh, sorry. I'll come back to social media. Laurie's just said, you mentioned on the video with Mr. G about fingerprints, and you said, and you at 17, does that mean you got into trouble with the men in blue? Do you know what, Laurie? I thought I snuck that one past people, and actually I was 19 at the time. Um, I thought I'd snuck that past people because I said it and I was like, oh God, and I pulled it back, and I thought I got through, but obviously not. I will pick that one up in a little while. But yes, I have been. I have. I don't know why I'm smiling about this. Yes, I have been arrested. Yes, I have been put into the back of a police car. I've been taken to a police station. I have been cuffed. I have been put into holding cells. Had my shoelaces taken off me. Had my belt taken off me. I've been fingerprinted, DNA swabbed, and stuff like that. Actually, it's happened to me a couple of times. If I'm brutally honest. So yes, I have been through that. I've never been in serious trouble, but yes, I did have a couple of times that I was arrested and taken to police cells and interviewed, and let go without charge, might I just point out. Okay, so back to social media. So I resisted social media for ages and ages and ages, and then when I was 26, I can't even remember what the catalyst for it was particularly, but basically, Stacey, I had MySpace. I did Spacey. You can be Spacey. Scary Stacey has joined. I did have a MySpace, and I'm sure Stacey had a MySpace because Stacey is old enough to have had a MySpace. But I did. I finally joined social media. Didn't really get it, and I think my account's pretty open actually. In fairness, I think my personal account's relatively open, but you can scroll back and sort of see. Should I dig out my very first picture? I'll try and do that as we're talking. I'll try and dig out my very first picture from social media and I'll post it on my page. But yeah, I resisted for years and years and years, and I finally joined. And I didn't really use it that much. I didn't really see what all the big fuss was about. Let me see if I can put these in order. Oh God, Jesus. And yeah, and I started using social media, and it was like that for years and years and years. I just kind of used it to connect with people, and it wasn't really until I started my first business that I really started using it, and I started getting involved. God, everyone now just wants to know about why I got arrested. Let me see if I can find the first photo that was published. Do you know what? I know I've just realised why I joined social media. It was because I went on a cricket tour with a load of guys I grew up with, and all the photos were posted on social media, I think. So I went on social media so I could be tagged in the photos. Let's have a quick look. Stacey, I'm 21. Yeah, right, Stace. Your partner's close to 21. Your kids are probably closer to 21 than you are. In fact, they must be. I'm sure your oldest is closer to 21 than you are, Stacey. Let's see if I can find. Oh my God, there's some. Oh God, I look so young. Jesus, what's happened? This is what 11 years of social media does to you. Wow, let me see if I can find the very first photo. Oh my God. Okay, it's not a good. It's not a bad photo, but it's not. Oh, that's not my first uploaded photo. Let me put that. So I'm just trying to dig them out because obviously there's photos that have been put on me when I was been tagged in. There it is. And let me just see if I can download it. Download. Okay. Right, can I upload it? I don't know if I can upload it to a live. That's one of the problems. Bloody things. I can't upload it to a live. I will stick it up afterwards. Sorry, I've completely gone off boil, completely gone off kilter. I've lost all the comments. I don't know what's going on. Friends reunited, yeah, Messenger. But if your mum was on the phone, you couldn't go on it. Yeah, MSN Messenger. Yeah, I remember that. Gosh, how old are you then, Stacey? I thought you were younger than Joel. Joel's fun. Stacey is younger than me, but only by a couple of years, not by much. She's about 5 years younger than me, I think. But yeah, it's not a huge amount. Yeah. So okay, right. Social media. Let's do this properly. So I went onto social media. And like I say, when I got a business, then I started a page, and I started using it. And I spoke previously actually about the PR disaster that I had. So spending all that money on a PR company, and it being one of the many mistakes I made, and that was, I think, a really big catalyst for me, because I obviously I spent so much money. It was £12,000 on PR, and now I look back and I go, God, how much money, how far £12,000 would have gone on social media advertising, would have blown the PR out of the water. Evening, Kathy. So that kind of really got me to understand a little bit more about social media and about the impact it was going to have in the world, and kind of how that was going to go. And I could just sort of get it and see it. And it's taken me years and years and years and years of using it and learning it, and it changes so fast. And that's one of the biggest challenges with social media, is it just changes so quickly. You have to be constantly on top of it. One of our somebody who used to work for us, not with us anymore. She was looking at the Facebook advertising side of things, and she was doing some work with me on Facebook advertising. And I think she put it really neatly, that Facebook advertising is as much of an art as it is a science, and it really is. And I don't know if there's anybody out there that does social media advertising for companies or for brands or for themselves or anything like that. But if you do social media advertising, there's some really good books you can read. There's a book by Gary Vaynerchuk called Jab, 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 Right Hook. It's a brilliant book about social media platforms. We use that as a training guide in our organisation, so everybody that deals with Facebook reads that book. Anybody that's involved in advertising or posting and answering comments reads that book. And I've built a lot of our strategy around a lot of stuff that's in that book, because even though it's a few years old now, I think it's 2016, it might even be older than that, a lot of it's still really relevant. And we do our social media, and lots of new employees that have started in our sales and our marketing team have said to me they've never seen social media done like the way we do it, in the way that is so in depth, and we put so much resource into it. They've never seen that done like that, and that's a real positive, because I do believe we're doing it the right way. And we had some really good comments the other day on TripAdvisor, specifically about how we manage our social media accounts, and I think it's a real positive. So happy to talk more about that. If you guys want to hear more about that and the strategy we take with social media, I'm happy to share that. It's not a great big secret. There's no kind of IP in this. To me, it just makes sense. Why wouldn't we do it that way? Happy to talk about getting arrested. I don't mind. Whatever you guys want to, really. I'm unplanned. I'm unscripted. I'm, off we go. Basically, you guys decide. And whilst that's happening, actually, I'm just going to post this photo to celebrate my 11-year anniversary of joining social media. It is the first photo I uploaded. It was a Dizzy Rascal. It was a gig, actually, a Dizzy Rascal gig, and I've never seen 2,000 people move so fast in my life. It was amazing. Any Dizzy Rascal fans out there? My 11-year anniversary of joining social media. Here is the first photo I uploaded. Looking at it, talk about getting locked up, John. Yeah, tell us your criminal record. Start at the beginning. Oh God, I wasn't planning on doing my criminal record for a little while. I don't have a criminal record. Let's be very clear about this right now. I do not have a criminal record. I have a criminal past. I don't have a criminal record. I've like I say, I'll go into it in a second. Let me just post this. Downloads. Let me find my first photo. Cool. Let me just. I should put this on Instagram, really. I'll come across. Sorry. This is what happens when you're unscripted and unprepared. Were you ever in trouble when you were a kid? I was in trouble all the time when I was a child, like all the time. Um, but for various different reasons. Sometimes with my parents, sometimes with school, various different things. But everyone gets in trouble when they're a kid. It's no big deal. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just seeing if I can just post this quickly. Right, let me just wing this onto Facebook really quick. We just do a couple of quick. Oh, hold on a sec. Okay. Right. Oh, let me just pick this up on social media advertising because Dave's just made a really good point here about I hate intrusive advertising on Facebook. When you search on eBay and Amazon and the bloody thing you search for appears on Facebook. Cookies. Cookies are your friend. Who likes to eat cookies? Cookies are your friend. I get what you're saying, Dave. I think it's... I used to be like that as well, I must admit, but now as somebody that uses social media to drive forward their business and their products, I find that a really, really neat algorithm. Really good, because if you search something, if you live it at the moment where we're advertising Shrewsbury and Telford to about 3.1 million people. We're advertising Shepton Mallet to Shepton Mallet surrounding areas, Bristol, Bath and Taunton. And I think that's going to about 5 million people. If you live in one of those areas and you went online and you search like historic tours or heritage tours or prison tours or something like that, if you're just looking at things like that basically, if you looked on TripAdvisor and you started reading about us, you are going to start seeing our ads, because using cookies, the system will know, Google will know, and Facebook Analytics will know that you are searching certain things, and it will know that we're advertising those things, and it will marry them up. Brilliant for us as an advertiser, because it thinks that it knows that you are looking at something specific, and it can send that to you. As long as we're paying for the advertising, it's going to try and send it to you. And there's this big conspiracy theory that Facebook advertising or social media advertising doesn't work, and they don't send it to the right people, they don't send out your ads as much as they should, and so on and so forth. Absolute fucking bollocks. Couldn't be further from the truth. Facebook and Instagram and social media platforms make their money from selling advertising space. They want the advertising to perform. They want you to get the best bang for your buck. They want you to get the best ROI, so return on investment, for your advertising spend, because when you spend money and you make money back and you can see the return, guess what? You spend more money and more money and more money. Nobody in their right mind in business sells a product for that product to fail or not to do what it says it does, because you just won't get any repeat business. It is crazy. So that's why. And yes, Maurice just said, I'm sure Siri and Alexa listen in. I told a joke the other day and they both laughed. I don't disagree with that. Where was I? I was in the street. I was walking with Emma a few weeks ago now. It was after lockdown. We were walking somewhere. I can't remember what it was. We were talking about something. I hadn't searched it online because I'm very aware of what I search and cookies and stuff. Hadn't searched online, and later that day it started popping up on ads, and I was like, something's bloody listening to me. But that is the world we live in. Right, sorry. But I do really go for social media ads. And we do, we use social media ads, I think, in a very, we do conversational selling. We don't do hard, aggressive selling. We don't try and trick people into things. We try and put it in front of you in a way that's engaging, in a way that's going to catch your attention, in a way that makes sense, and will inspire you effectively to engage with us and connect with us, and then we're very good at responding. I like to think we are. We can get better, but I like to think we're pretty good. Blimey, Laurie, okay, right. Good job I don't go on Love Honey and Ann Summers. Yeah, all right, Dave. Yeah, Dave's been searching Ann Summers. Different things popping up for you, Dave. Me get my drift. Well, Alexa doesn't listen when I ask her to play a bloody song. Yeah, I get that. Okay. Laurie's asking if I can talk more about my childhood, my teens, any battles I've had. I'm guessing you don't mean fights. Um, go from nothing to being a successful person like you have would certainly help me. I'm honest, I suffer from enough expression. Okay. Do you know what, Laurie? I will pick up at some point. I will pick up. I've got a book at work actually. I'll bring it back, um, uh, and I will pick up next week. I'll do it now. I'll do it next week. More about the challenges I went through with panic attacks and anxiety and stuff like that in my mid 20s, and I'll talk about that more in depth next week. But I don't really want to do it today, so I'll do that next week. And I would say though I haven't come. I've not come from nothing. I don't think anybody ever comes from nothing, and my story's not a rags to riches story. To a degree, it'd be lovely if it was, but it's not. The reality is I haven't come from a very low income family. I've come from a traditionally middle class family. I've always had a good upbringing. I've always gone to good schools. Yes, I think money's been tight at different points, but we've never had to struggle. My parents have always owned their own house. They divorced when I was very young. But they've always owned their own house. You know, we've never had a worry of being on the streets and stuff like that. So I've certainly not come from the deprived and sort of poverty-stricken background that a number of successful people have done, a number of other people have done. So, but I will cover that a little bit more next week, I think. So I'm just reading through the comments. You use your social media in lockdown has been awesome. Thank you, Simon. I've loved doing social media in lockdown. And the only reason we're not going to be doing the virtual tours is a big thing of time. It takes a fair bit of time just to set them up, to run them. It's not just we flick the cameras on at 11 o'clock or 11. At 11 o'clock and off we go and that's it. You know, there's a few hours before, sometimes, you know, even the day before, we're setting up internet cables and stuff like that. Setting up the cameras, make sure it's right. Me and Graham are obviously discussing about what we're going to do, how we're going to make it work. We do a lot of the presenting on the fly, if I'm honest. We'll talk about the area. We'll go, right, well, if we start here, Graham, where do you want to start? And he'll go, I'll start over there and I'll do this. And I say, okay, cool, well, I'll do this and then we'll do this. And we do the rest of it on the fly. But then it takes a good hour and a half to pack up afterwards. It takes a team of people obviously answering the comments and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that happen. So yes, that's part and parcel of it. So it just time-wise, running tours start at 11, the lives are at 11. We just thought we'd stop until September and then we'll restart. I haven't posted this photo actually. I'll probably post this on Instagram in a little while. You wanted to talk about me getting arrested. So I've been arrested twice in my life. Well, twice I've been caught and arrested. I went through a period of time, I guess, where I was breaking a few laws. I was rebelling a little bit, I guess is a way of explaining it. I got arrested once for what's called bilking petrol. So this was basically just a stupid thing that I did when I was younger. I went to a petrol station in my car. I must have been, I think I was 19 at the time. I'd not long been back from Australia. I didn't have any money on me. I was stuck in kind of stuck with no petrol. Didn't have any cash on me. So I thought, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll fill up with petrol and I'll just drive off. And I don't know why I thought that was an idea. And I did. So that's what happened basically. I filled my car up with petrol, and I just jumped in and I just drove off. And probably about, I don't know, 20 miles down the road maybe, I got pulled over by a police car, and they basically said that you filled up with petrol. Have you got, you didn't pay? Did you forget? And I was like, yeah, I forgot. And do you have the money to pay for it? I was like, oh no, I haven't got my wallet with me. They're like, okay, so we'll arrest you for bilking petrol. So I got taken to the police station, arrested, cuffed, driven to the police station. I had to have an interview. I got swabbed, DNA'd, fingerprints, the whole works, into the holding cells, shoelaces off, belt off, anything you can do damage to yourself with. I'm probably in there for about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Interviewed basically in terms of why didn't you pay, and I just said, look, I just didn't have any money. I just held my hands up, didn't have any money, didn't have any petrol, miles away from home, so I did it. And they said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you a warning. We're going to release you. You drive home, and then you make good with the petrol station. You drive down, you pay them, or you send them the money, basically. And that's exactly what happened. They released me, drove home, and a couple of days later, I drove back down to the petrol station and paid for it in cash and apologised and said I was sorry. So that was that. It's not very exciting. It wasn't a smart move, but I was 19. I'm not sure if that's an excuse, actually, being 19, but how did I find those handcuffs? Not a lot of fun. I'll be honest. It's not a lot of fun. I mean, handcuffed. The other time I was actually arrested was not through a fault of my own, per se. One of my friends had been arrested, and there was a group of us, and he was being arrested for something, and because the rest of us were all kicking off, as a strange time in my life. So actually a few of us got arrested at the same time, just in connection with being there at the same incident. So I was arrested for that, and again taken in, fingerprinted, swabbed, put into a holding cell, and eventually I was interviewed. They realised I had nothing to do with it, and along with a number of my other friends, we were all released and we went home. And that was it. So those were the only times that they caught me. No. So that was kind of my two run-ins, if you will, with being arrested. And spending a couple of hours in the cell and going through the interview process and stuff like that. So I've never really had to worry about going to jail or anything along those lines. So I'm just having a quick look at what people are saying here. Is everyone still going on about Alexa? So I'm just trying to see what's going on. Social media is great, but you do have to be careful how you use it and what you put. I don't know if you do. I don't think you do have to be that careful. I mean, it depends on what you want to do. But let's get back to social media, because this is an interesting debate that I love having. I don't think you do have to be that careful. Throw back to me a little bit, guys. Why you think you have to be careful? What areas you think you have to be careful, and why? Kirsty's been, we're just talking about the lives. Kirsty's just tagged on about the lives. She's seen one, she's been there, she's seen it, and it does take a bit of setup. I don't know what you guys are talking to. I don't know what I'm completely lost. Maurice, let's get back onto handcuffs. Yes, I've been in rigid bar cuffs, so the ones that you have to be basically like that, so you can't move. I've been in those kind of cuffs, and I've been in these kind of cuffs as well, I think, where you're kind of where your side angles. We've obviously got different chain cuffs at the prison, so I've been in various different cuffs over the time. Laurie's saying she's been careful of photos of her children on Facebook. Yeah, I can get that. I understand you be careful of your photos of your children, but I think it again, depending on what photos you're putting up. I think it depends on what you're posting and how comfortable you are. We've certainly got friends that can't put up pictures of their kids because they're fostered or adopted and stuff like that, so they're not allowed to. But I'm not too. I mean, you see on my social media, I put pictures of my kids up quite a lot, and they're generally quite happy for that. But I'm obviously careful of what pictures we do put up and what we don't and stuff. But yeah, I think it's about being sensible. See, that's interesting. Rachel's saying she works for a company who's very strict when you put on your personal accounts. By and large, you can actually put a huge amount of stuff onto your personal accounts without it impacting your work. It would be very hard for an employer if it's not deemed as sexist, homophobic, racist, bullying, slander, anything like that can have potentially a legal implication. You can't really get in too much trouble from an employer, depending on who your employer is, what your contract says. From what you post, because you're allowed your own points of view, as long as you're not bringing your employer into, as long as you're not being detrimental to your employer or putting them into a position where it makes them look bad. Happens a lot in America because the laws are different, but employment law in the UK is far different from the US. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, Simon's absolutely right. In this day and age of screenshotting and smartphones and stuff like that, screen grabs, you have to be so careful because you can post something. As soon as you post something, it's there. Even if you take it down quickly, you know it's there. Um, so absolutely, and I'm quite careful about certain things I say. You'll see that that's why the whole thing about me swearing on Shrewsbury Prison page, I'm like, oh God, because I do get in trouble for that. The marketing team and Harriet will tell me off for that because of the type of page it is. I'm not allowed to swear, and that's a blanket rule that we've had from the day dot that I put in, and it has to be enforced from top to bottom, myself included. And that's why we do things like that, because it's anybody could see that from the age of 13 through, and it's a company page, it's a branded page, so there's certain rules. Come onto my page, I can swear as much as I fucking like. There's no problems. I can swear. I can do whatever I like. It's my page. Nobody can tell me what to do on my own page. But you know, there are things that I will have conversations with my friends, with certain groups of people that I wouldn't put necessarily onto social media, because some people may take offence to it. Not that it's meant in an offensive way, but some people will. Lauren and I'll be quite open about this. Laura and I will have different gay jokes at different points, and I'll throw certain things at her. She'll throw certain things back. But I'll also have straight jokes, and I'll also joke about people from the countryside having 6 fingers and marrying their sisters, and you know, mums and uncles and cousins all being interrelated. And I'm from the countryside, and there's certain things that, you know, like I say, you'll joke with certain groups of friends and family and stuff like that. You wouldn't put out onto social media potentially. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, I don't really use my personal Facebook page, my personal Facebook account really at all. I very, very rarely use it. I use my page for everything, and Instagram. Ben Lowry has joined. So Ben Lowry is somebody I went to school with. He's the guy that I was talking about at the very beginning, who's just starting to look at investing into property. So I've been talking to him and seeing some of his posts, and we're going to have a conversation possibly tomorrow or early next week about investing in property. And it's great for some people. Ben, I was just telling these guys that I sold my house in Somerset today. So it's great for some people. They love investing in property. They like buying it, refurbing it, flipping it, renting it, so on and so forth. For me, I just don't get excited by property. It does not get me at all excited. I prefer the businesses that I'm in where you could do stuff. It's more dynamic, it's more involved, it's more fun, there's more engagement, there's more people in the process, and I really like that. And I don't care if it doesn't make as much money. I enjoy it, and it's about the journey. I say that a lot, and you guys hear that a lot. It's about the journey. Let's have a quick look. People interviewing sessions, absolutely. We're interviewing at the moment. So we're applying. We've just put out for a couple of jobs at Shrewsbury. The apps come back in, and straight away one of the first things I would do is look at their social media account. However, we've changed our process, because what happens now when somebody applies is the applications go to HR. HR anonymise them, so they take out all of the identifying data, names, ages, dates of births, sex, personal details, anything like that, and they just give whoever's doing the sift, so the initial selection process, just give them the details about the actual candidate's abilities and such. And from that position, they do the sift. And once the sift is done, and we know who we're going to invite to interview, then you get the rest of the personalised data. So we always do that, the sift and the invite to interview on anonymised data for that exact reason, Simon. So it's completely fair across the board. We don't take sex into it, we don't take race into it, we don't take colour of your skin, your sexual orientational preferences, your age. None of that gets taken into consideration. It's just on your application form. And I believe that's the fair and best way of doing it. Yeah, Maurice, absolutely. Prison officers, you have to be very careful with social media. And we saw that. I don't know if Stacey's still here, but she'll be able to testify to that, because Stacey was a victim of Twitter attacks, because she posted onto her Twitter page. Actually, it was her TikTok page. Stacey posted pictures of her in her prison officer uniform at work for us on TikTok, and some prison there's a campaign from Prisoners of People 2 where family members of prisoners basically campaigning for better treatment and more rights and so on and so forth. And they grabbed the pictures of Stacey and said how disgusting it was that she was wandering around with her phone in a jail, taking photos, because all the prisoners were locked up, and it said, look, you can see behind us, some of the doors are open, some of them are locked up, I know, this is awful. And they started a proper hate campaign against Stacey, and me and the marketing team had to step in and say, hold on a sec, guys, get your facts right. This isn't a real prison officer. She works in a prison that's now a tourist attraction. And in fairness, they did apologise, but it spiralled very, very quickly. And initially we thought it was a bit of a joke, and then it got out of hand so fast. And somebody started going, we know which area she lives, we know what bus she takes to work, and it escalated quite fast. Let's have a quick look at the comment. I love it, everyone. I love a good swear. Are we going live on Saturday? I don't think we are going live on Saturday night, actually. Don't do it, Laurie. Don't join the prison service. No, I mean, I've never worked in it, so I'm not the best person to ask. But I'd be surprised if you find a prison officer in this day and age that's worked in the prison service for a long time, like Graham or Maurice, that says join it now. We were going to go live on Saturday, but I don't think we are actually, because Lauren's in all weekend. I've got stuff on this weekend. But the trouble is we're busy. We're so busy now, having the sites open. I know that you guys will be disappointed, but having the prisons open, we've got so much to do. We've got 2 full-time attractions that we run. It takes so much time to get that machine moving. We're a little bit short-staffed at the moment as well. So we're all working a little bit extra, so I don't think we're going to be able to go live this weekend, but we are. I might go live on Wednesday when you guys come up for your ghost tours. Actually, I might do a little live then. Laurie, I've never been a prison officer, so in fairness, I'm not the best person to ask for advice, but I know from speaking to the guys, the pay's not great these days, the conditions aren't fantastic. I know there's a lot of problems in terms of the pressure that's put on prison officers. If you've been watching the lives, Graham's been talking about it. You know, it's a great job, but I think the type of job it now is probably really, really hard. It's really tough. But then, hey, maybe what it needs is more people like you to start doing it, to help change it. I don't know. Speak to Maurice, speak to Officer G. They're great people because they've been doing it for years and they've seen it from the 80s, 90s, 2000s to modern day. Leave the keys under the mat. We'll let ourselves in. Kathy, there's no way I'm leaving the keys under the mat for you. It's not going to happen. No, I don't know if I'll have a prison to come back to. Let's have a quick look. Right, so people are going off. Right, so I've got a couple of minutes left, so I only like to keep it going 45 minutes, 50 minutes, because I don't want to talk too long. Next week I'll talk. I will talk relatively in depth about the challenges I had with anxiety, like I say, and with panic attacks specifically, which kicked in for me in my early 20s, mid 20s. I think I'll double check the dates, but it was around maybe 25, 26, and I'll talk about that. And it went on for a few years, and even every now and again, I still get kind of little, I guess wobbles is probably the right word. So yeah, I'll talk more about that next week. I've thoroughly enjoyed having beer again. It's taken me 45 minutes to drink one beer. I've enjoyed talking once more, unplanned and unprepared. I do love a good social media conversation as much as I like a good business conversation. I'm going to chat to Ben at some point about property, and we'll have a discussion about that. I might see if he wants to film any of that and post it, and bits and pieces like that, really. And hopefully, in the next week or two, I will have more news about potentially moving forwards with buying a prison. It takes a long time to get these things sorted. So, thank you very much for those of you saying happy Facebook anniversary. I'm very pleased with my Facebook anniversary. Let's have a quick look. Oh, don't forget your video of working from home. 1 to 25, that's the one. Yeah, I will do that. I was talking to my team about that the other day because they asked me. The 1 to 25 ratio is so true. The more I look at it, the more I talk to people about it, the more accurate I believe that is. So yes, I will look at the 1 to 25 video. Ben is just jumped on there. Ben, you're going to love the 1 to 25. That is right up your street. So yeah, right. I'm gonna leave you guys to it. I'm going to finish my beer. I'm probably going to have a whiskey this evening out by the pool. I sound like such a fucking dick when I say that, I know. But I'm not going to apologise. I've worked bloody hard. And this house was really cheap. So I'm going to go and have a whiskey out by the pool in the sun, and then I will absolutely do that next week on the Thursday. Ben will speak soon. I will do that video as well. And just, guys, thank you so much once again for following and jumping on. I really appreciate it because, to be honest, I think I just talk a load of crap. And Lauren tells me that every day that I just talk a load of crap. So thank you so much for listening. It is, like I say, it's a real outlet for me, and I really enjoy it. So if you're coming to the prison at any point soon, please do say hi. I'd love to see you. I'd love to chat. I'm more than happy to go for a little wander around the jail with you and have a coffee in the restaurant and stuff like that. So anyway, guys, thank you very much, and I will speak to you next Thursday for Join Joel number 9. And that's pretty much it. I'll stop waffling. Laters.